Hello and welcome to the Watchtower. My name is Desi.
And my name is Ben.
And we have some bunch of movies and trailers that are coming out or came out that we would like to talk about. So
Yeah. Being hopeful for things, being speculating.
Yeah.
it's gonna be a fun time on today's episode.
Yeah, I have to say around now I think is when some of my favorite movies come out, is usually around like the fall winter area, you know?
Oh yeah. I mean, like, I think usually like all the blockbusters hit in summer,
also
right?
a lot of TV shows
Yeah.
premiere around this time. So it's a fun time.
There's just more to talk about.
Yeah. So you want to start with The Flash?
The Flash.
So-
This week we've been doing every week we've been doing recaps of The Flash and what we thought of this week's episode. So this was episode 4.
Episode 4.
Yeah, what happened in this episode, Desi?
Let's think. Well, we see Captain Cold return.
Technically.
And, yeah, that kind of bothered me because I'm really not a fan of Captain Cold. I don't know. Are other people fans of Captain Cold?
Do you care about spoilers for Legends of Tomorrow?
Huh? No.
Oh, okay. He's dead. Captain Cold is dead.
Well, okay. Well, we see a little bit of Captain Cold in a flashback.
Yeah. We see. It's actually kind of weird that he's dead because he's signed up as a series regular, just like Malcolm Merlyn, Katie Cassidy, who's also dead.
Okay.
It's just a lot of dead characters are just showing up on Arrow for some reason, or just signing up as regulars for some reason.
Well, we get some. Continuing on with the Flash latest episode, we get some interesting metahumans. We have one that can give you crippling vertigo, and another one that can pass through mirrors.
That's actually pretty good timing because Doctor Strange is about to come out, and she has the whole kaleidoscope thing going on. So fun.
So these are some of the stranger metahumans we've seen, but I thought they were pretty interesting.
Strange metahumans?
Okay.
Yeah, sorry.
I don't know about stranger, but we definitely see some weird, like, I'd say that they're honestly like Scooby-Doo type villains, you know?
Well, that's what the Flash does best. Like, just kind of take some
fun villains.
Have some fun villains for the Flash and the cast, the regular cast, to just kind of have some character development through.
Let's talk about Jessie Quick, who we see her in action for the first time this episode.
Yeah, that was fun. I like her costume. It's pretty good.
I do. How does her mask work?
I mean, I don't know. It's how all the superhero masks work
it's
on
literally
these
glasses.
On the shows.
There's no strap around it. She just rips it off. Oh, actually, I think I figured it out.
What?
Okay. So she probably runs so fast
Desi,
that her mask stays on her face.
Yeah.
But then that brings up the argument, when she stops, the mask should go flying off her face.
So last week we had this Community Media Day, which is a thing around the country, and that was outside, and that episode isn't going up on YouTube, but we talked a bit about how in these superhero shows stuff, the masks just don't have physics. And it's quite weird. And since these shows are live action, I wonder how that works.
They probably just glue it to her face.
Yeah, they probably glue it.
They glue the Grant Gustin, who's the Flash, they glue his mask to his face, and I'm pretty sure that thing would stay anyway. So
yeah, exactly. I mean, Jesse's costume actually, I think, does look cooler than the Flash's. Because
you think?
The Flash in this show has always looked very awkward to me. And that doesn't, not to say that any live action version of the Flash has ever looked cool, because Ezra Miller's certainly doesn't. The one from the 1992 show certainly doesn't. I guess this is the best one.
The best.
But I think it's actually Barry's head shape. Or it could just be that this costume needs some readjustments in live action, because maybe it just doesn't work like that. Because Grant Gustin's head shape seems to be like very sort of, it gets bigger as it goes up.
Just like a triangle.
Like yeah.
Okay, what are some other things? Oh, we see Wally West and Jesse. They have a little romance going on. What do you think of that, Ben?
Oh, yeah. I like it. I think they're some of the only two characters on the show that have had like some chemistry right from the beginning, because Iris and Barry had it, except it was like the actors just kind of didn't really settle into their roles until maybe
the other thing
middle of season 2. So.
About Barry and Iris, which I feel like the show didn't do so well, is that they wanted to have some humor and make it super awkward between them. But I feel like trying to be funny by making it awkward kind of blocked all the chemistry that they could have had.
Yeah, and it didn't make their romance interesting.
Yeah,
quite honestly, I don't think awkward jokes about this stuff ever makes it interesting.
It's very cliche. Exactly. It's done a lot. So, my thoughts on Wally West and Jesse's romance, I think, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but I felt like it was pretty quick. Like
quick. Sorry, I am just. You are just coming with the puns today, Jesse.
Pun. Okay.
Yeah, man. It's. I think it's. I like it. It's. I've thought. Oh yeah, these actors definitely have chemistry. Since season 2, whatever, they've definitely been like pushing that. What I liked about this episode is that they like actually like spontaneously kiss and stuff. And with the Flash's romance isn't that great for the most part. It's like there's a lot of buildup to kissing and
yeah. So it felt a little relieving that
exactly.
they didn't have to make it so awkward between the two of them.
Yeah, which is great. But it's really good because the other romances in the show they're not good. Iris and Barry can be exhausting at times, to put it lightly.
Well, I did like
the will they won't they stuff just got so tiring, and I mean they're finally going with it, except man, I miss Patty. Patty just kind of worked.
she was the best love interest to Barry.
Yeah,
Allen.
she Grant Gustin and whoever played Patty Spivot, I don't actually know. They had a lot of chemistry, and it just really worked.
Yeah,
and then she just left the show for almost no reason.
Well, it was because they.
And
just
I'm still
wanted
kind of
to set
angry
up the
about
Barry
that. Barry Iris thing, but you know what? Maybe we can just have a show that doesn't completely adhere to the source material at all times.
Well,
right?
You might end up with some pissed off fans, and I don't think they wanted that.
You know what? I think fans care more about the show's actual quality than they do.
Well,
if this panel is represented accurately on screen.
Okay, well, Ben, you've proven we have a pissed off fan because Barry and Iris got together.
Ooh, yeah. Except I'm saying that fans wouldn't be pissed off if Barry and Patty got together.
Okay.
Plus, they're together in the comics, I believe, right now or a year ago, whenever I picked up that one issue of The Flash.
Yeah.
So,
well, I just think the Wally and Jesse romance was good, and it was sad. It was sad how they had to leave each other in the end, but kind of.
I mean, okay, that's something I didn't like. It's like Wally immediately says after the only decent thing that has happened in the show's romance thing is that he's like, oh no, we can't do this.
Well,
like,
honestly,
oh my god,
that was kind of my thoughts. I was like, aw, but they can't. They're from different universes. Like they can't really get in a relationship. That's like a serious long distance relationship. That's like more than long distance. That's like I don't know what you call it. Like they're from different parts of the multiverse.
I get that she's like the Flash on another planet or something, or she's Jesse Quick on another planet. But and that Harrison Wells has stuff to do. Except Harrison Wells obviously has like some subplot about him secretly wanting to stay there, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know.
You want to move on to talk about Harrison Wells? Because
sure. Yeah, there's an alternate Harrison Wells, man.
Well, there's a bunch of them. So
I feel like Jessie could stay just for like no reason, so we could have that character there. You know?
Yeah, I would like that.
She's a really good character, and I really like Harrison Wells too. This version of him.
Yeah.
I'm not quite sure how I feel about the version that they introduced in this episode.
At the very end,
for those who haven't been watching The Flash, it's there's a ton of alternate universes. Why could they communicate so easily? With the alternate universes,
Flash. Harrison Wells from another universe.
Yeah, that seemed odd.
I don't know. Well, one of them
seems like been
French.
A very horrible. It's just been a very hard thing to deal with earlier in the seasons, and now it's just super easy. Which I mean, it's fine, but I don't know how I feel about it.
Yeah. What do you think of? At the end of the episode, we see a new Harrison Wells from another Earth. He comes in. He looks like a street performer.
Yeah.
And he seems to have a sense of humor. He's not so uptight like the previous Harrison Wells.
Something that I didn't realize, this show made me very used to seeing the same actor be on screen at the same time, be on screen twice at the same time,
Like as two different characters.
As two different characters. It's it's really weird how I can just kind of understand that now, because before it would have been really jarring, but this show made me. Oh yeah, I guess that's a normal thing because I didn't even know
the time travel and alternate universes and
I just thought about it and I was like, oh yeah, there must be some like what's it called, superimposing or CGI going on there, except like probably superimposing, but I just didn't realize it, which is good. So
yeah,
because Harrison Wells, how do I feel about him? I think the one from Earth 2 is pretty entertaining. The one from like Earth 27 or whatever.
Yeah, whatever it was.
Who's being introduced. It could be fun. Clearly, there's a reason why he wants to like get off his Earth, right?
Yeah, you think we're going to have another evil Harrison Wells?
Yeah. But that would also be super predictable. But as we've discussed before, The Flash is a very predictable show and doesn't
There's not very
it's
many
not afraid
like,
of
big twists.
Yeah, it's not afraid of being really obvious with everything.
Yeah. So we might have another evil Harrison Wells, which I wouldn't really like that. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean,
it's already been done.
I keep saying this. The Flash needs to get better with twists, right?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's definitely a fun show, but it's very, very predictable. Like, you know what's gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else that happens in the episode? Oh, we have Caitlin Snow.
Yeah, she's becoming Killer Frost.
Which
a few months ago, the actress said that we would see more of Killer Frost in some way.
And this is how we're seeing it.
I guess she's due to Flashpoint and all that. She's getting powers now.
Yeah, and let me just say, I really love this. I don't know what to call it, like twist or spin.
I get this development.
Yeah, I really like this take on Caitlin Snow because in the previous seasons, like she didn't really seem to bring a whole lot extra to the show. She didn't really have much of a point. Like she helped the gang and all, and she was like super smart. But I felt like she didn't add a whole lot. I mean, I guess she felt sad because her love interest kept dying on her.
Oh man, Ronnie, you've only died 6 times. When are you gonna come back to life? Oh, I guess never.
So it was really complicated, and personally, I didn't find it super interesting.
Yeah.
So when she's becoming Killer Frost, though, I am finding this very interesting, and I'm really curious to see what the show is going to do with this. This is also one of the things about the show where I'm not quite sure what's going to happen, honestly.
Yeah. I mean,
honestly not sure if she's going to turn evil or become part of like the Flash crew.
Yeah, I think what's going to happen, and I wouldn't be surprised if they go with this because, as we keep saying, Flash is a very predictable show. Is at first she like helps them out, but then something happens and she becomes evil. Or they could just
they kill another one of her love interests. There we go.
But I mean, her name is Killer Frost, right? How are they going to incorporate that in a good way? Right.
Well, is she going to be called Killer Frost? No, she could be called Killer Frost and still be a superhero.
Sure, I guess. I mean, it's kind of a very intimidating name, though.
That's the point.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Well, yeah, but I'm really liking seeing Caitlin Snow as Killer Frost. We see her at the end of the episode. She has like the purplish gray lipstick on, and her hair starts turning white. Do you remember that part?
Yeah.
Her shower freezes up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then she notices that she has like a strand of white hair.
Mm-hmm. That's it's going to be interesting because she's not going to be able to hide unless she wants to like shave off her head, right?
Yeah,
she's gonna have to have like. I was gonna wonder how they approach that, right? Because the whole white hair thing is kind of like, oh, did you dye it? Are you wearing a wig? What's going on here? And I think it's pretty interesting how they're going about it. So
yeah,
that's cool.
Also, I'm curious when she's gonna well, I'm assuming that the rest of the Flash, all that crew, they're eventually going to know at some point, right? So I'm curious when she's going to tell them, or
Yeah,
if she's
yeah.
going to tell them at all, and they're just going to find out.
Yeah. I mean, Cisco is probably going to say something like, "Caitlin, is that a gray hair?" Or
Oh,
something
no.
later, like next episode.
Oh,
And,
probably,
like,
probably.
And she's going to be like, "What? No." And it's going to be typical CW love drama. It's not going to be love drama.
No,
affair, but
because
it's going
they
to
don't
be
have a
typical
relationship.
CW awkward whatever affair.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's
You know what they
pretty
should
much
do?
it.
They should bring back that MetaHuman app that Harrison Wells had in season 2, where he could where the app would go off every time he was near a MetaHuman.
Oh yeah.
And then he would walk by Caitlin and then see she was a MetaHuman.
I'd say this season of The Flash is shaping up to be pretty good so far. The first episode sucked. The second episode was pretty damn good, and the third and fourth episode have kind of gone down a bit. But they've kept the they've kept the trend. So that's
Yeah,
good.
I think this is definitely. It seems a lot better than season 2, and I think it's on par with season 1. So I think it's really
definitely.
good.
I give this episode 1.5 thumbs up.
So you have one thumb up, and then the other one's bent.
Yeah, it's like this. You can't see that.
Okay, do you want to move on now? Anything else, Ben, or no?
I think that's all we have to say about The Flash for today, right? So, yeah. On to trailers and stuff. Yesterday, a new Sherlock trailer was released. It's pretty much the same as the one we got in July, which I don't know if I had seen before, but it's...
I felt like I'd seen it, but
Yeah, definitely.
it looks pretty good.
It's basically the same trailer with some added footage and added scenes. But... looks interesting. I wasn't the biggest fan of Sherlock season 3 as some are. I think it's definitely worse than the other two seasons.
Yeah, I definitely think it's definitely still good because it's Sherlock, but I think it's definitely a step down from season 2 because season 2 I felt was really great and it was strong writing and it was really well done.
I remember having fairly mixed opinions on the first and third episode of Sherlock season 3, and the fourth one I kind of just hated.
Yeah, going back,
the second one I remember being okay with.
The first one was
I don't quite recall everything, but
the first one was when
Watched it a year
Sherlock
ago.
comes back after they think he's dead, and the second the second episode is at John's wedding, and then the third episode is
John's wedding was pretty fun actually.
Yeah, that was a fun episode.
Yeah, it was fun. Doesn't really contribute to a lot, you know.
Yeah, I don't think it was as good as other episodes we've seen, but it was fun. And then the third episode is with Mr. I forget his name. I saw it a while ago. Magison or something. Mr. Madison.
Yeah.
I probably look stupid because I'm screwing up his name.
Yeah.
But it was with that guy. He was the weird guy that could remember everything.
Yeah.
And then the Christmas special after that.
Oh yeah.
So I don't think we've seen. I think most of the Sherlock episodes that have come out have been they've been good, but they haven't been good compared to their earlier stuff. So hopefully in season 4 we'll see they'll go back up to par like they were in season 1 and 2. You know what I'm saying?
I really hope so. I kind of have this ominous feeling about it because the trailers do not show us a lot. It seems like typical Sherlock affair, which could mean anything.
Well,
so,
I'm very excited. I'm a huge fan of Benedict Cumberbatch Sherlock. I think
I'm a huge fan of Benedict Cumberbatch's everything.
Yeah. Well, okay. I just need to say, I've seen in the Sherlock movies, but I don't think anyone's done it as well as Benedict Cumberbatch, who I love his character in Sherlock. I think he's a great mix of being super smart, but he's also really socially awkward. But it's the perfect balance of the two to make a really interesting character and great show.
And it comes off as really interesting, like you said.
That's why whenever I just see his face in the trailer, I just got excited.
And, I mean, Stephen Moffat, despite not knowing what he's doing with Doctor Who, which is we'll actually get into that later this episode.
Yeah.
He does know to an extent, at least somewhat, at least I'd say for the first 2 seasons, and he's getting there with season 3.
Yeah.
He does know what he's doing with Sherlock, and for Doctor Who, I'd say it's definitely a bit more aimless. So that's good. But also I think Stephen Moffat has a lot less input on Sherlock than he does Doctor Who. So
Yeah, that's another thing.
I don't know. I think I get this general feeling that the showrunners are kind of just a tad bit done with writing Sherlock. They don't really care that much anymore. They lost interest maybe after
Also,
season 2.
the actors might not be as interested either. Like,
yeah, sure.
ever since, well, when the show started back the years ago, Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman, the stars of the show, they weren't nearly as big as they are now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And now, I mean, both of them are part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Yeah, and also they've also gotten huge roles elsewhere. Like Martin Freeman was the Hobbit.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so they're really big now. So being back on Sherlock probably seems like a much smaller scale than what they're used to.
I
now.
mean, like Sherlock, it doesn't have a huge budget. Right?
Well, it has a big,
and
relative to most TV shows, it has a pretty big budget.
Yeah, yeah.
But compared to
there's
Hollywood movies that Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman have been in,
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
smaller.
I mean, to criticize Benedict Cumberbatch on one thing, I don't think he's that great of a con from Star Trek. But there you go. There's the one flaw with Benedict Cumberbatch.
Okay.
Everybody.
And he can't say the word penguin.
Can he?
No,
Is that
it was on some interview. He says it like penguin.
Huh. Interesting.
Okay, back on topic.
Yeah,
That was
back
totally
on topic.
random.
I think Benedict Cumberbatch and Martin Freeman they've definitely settled into these characters, but I think they're definitely trying to go for some more Hollywood stuff now, and
So they might be a little bit
BBC is definitely a lot
sick
smaller
of these characters.
scale.
Yeah, they're like, let's get this over with. But I still think they'll do a phenomenal job as
Yeah.
Sherlock and John.
I just kind of, like I said earlier, I kind of get the vibe that this show is probably coming to an end soon, and that everybody is just very tired of working on it.
Yeah.
And I mean, they do take a really long time to write the episodes, but I have a feeling that's because everyone else is just working on other stuff, not because they're writing 3-year episodes.
Yeah,
Not
well,
because they're taking 3 years to
I
write an
think
episode.
a lot of their episodes do take a lot more planning than your average TV episode.
Sure, because there has to be like the mystery and
Yeah, and
intrigue
they
all
also
that.
spend a lot more money than most studios would on just one TV episode.
Yeah. So I mean, speaking of Benedict Cumberbatch, Doctor Strange, what do you think? What are you anticipating of that movie?
I am very excited for this movie. As I am for pretty much every Marvel movie at this point, honestly. This looks like a really fantastic, like visually appealing movie. It really reminds me of Inception. You know what I'm saying? Like just seeing the buildings fold in on each other and change. My mind instantly just goes Inception.
Yeah. So if you look at Doctor Strange's Rotten Tomatoes score right now, actually, it is insanely high. It's at a 98%.
Oh, damn.
It has
So
about 60
I'm even
reviews
more psyched
in.
for this movie then.
I mean, it's what I've heard from reviews that have come in. It's coming out next Friday. So this show the show next week will not be about Doctor Strange. We'll probably give in some more prediction stuff, but it's going to be that episode's going to come out the week after, which is going to be fun. We'll probably give a whole spiel about why it's amazing or something. But okay, so it looks really good. I love the kaleidoscope visuals. Benedict Cumberbatch like we said, he can act pretty much anything in his sleep, right?
Yeah.
He
has a really good voice for Stephen Strange.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like-
when I heard his voice in the trailer, it took me a bit to get used to.
Yeah.
I feel like it will take some more getting used to the actual
definitely.
movie.
Since we're used
But
to him.
hopefully he can actually pull off the accent. So, which I've heard he can.
Well,
so.
he sounds like he has a solid accent. It's just weird coming from his mouth. Because
Yeah.
you're used to seeing him being like Sherlock, who's talking really fast in a low monotone voice in a British accent.
I've heard some criticisms of Doctor Strange being a bit too similar to Tony Stark in this movie. I hope they don't play up the billionaire playboy who's also funny thing, because in the comics they are similar in that way, except Doctor Strange is definitely more serious and kind of
based on the
ironically
trailer.
grounded than Tony Stark.
But based on the
his
trailer,
personality,
he seems like he's more serious.
Yeah, which is good, because I feel like if you have those that facial hair bros moment from the comic. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be quite a ride. I'm definitely anticipating it being a good movie. It looks good.
You think you're gonna get vertigo in the theaters from seeing it in 3D?
Am I gonna get vertigo? I haven't seen a movie in 3D in so long.
It's gonna be in 3D, right?
I mean, sure.
I'm
So
assuming
is
it
every
is.
movie ever, though.
No, but like this looks like a great movie to see in 3D. Just
Yeah, but I mean, I would probably like
Throw up?
pass out or throw up or something. So yeah, I think the last movie I saw in 3D was Guardians of the Galaxy.
Oh wow, that's a while ago.
Yeah. I mean, it looks good. It's standard Marvel affair. It looks like with some added visual spunk. So
Yeah, I think it's gonna be on par with most of the other Marvel origin stories, like Ant-Man or
I don't know
Iron
if
Man.
I would say that because typically Marvel origin stories don't have the greatest track record because right now I can think of like 3 that are actually good, and it's Iron Man, Ant-Man, and if the Guardians of the Galaxy counts, then that.
Yeah, that's what I
but
was
I guess Captain America: the First Avenger is okay.
Yeah,
except
it's not a great movie, but it's not bad. It's
Yeah,
not amazing, but it's not bad.
it's meh, and the rest are just they're bad to okay. I think Marvel does an okay job with solo movies. I think it's with origin movies. I think it's solo movies in general that they generally have a hard time with because both Thor movies have been bad. The Incredible Hulk was bad.
Iron Man 2
is
and 3.
bad.
3 is
Iron Man
okay.
3 is debatable. Civil War and Winter Soldier, which both
those were great. Those were great,
Which
though.
both are technically ensemble movies.
But Civil
are-
War was more like Avengers 2.5.
I think it definitely shows that these movies benefit from having a larger cast because Avengers: Age of Ultron was bad, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah, that's another story.
I think these movies benefit from having characters bouncing off each other and having interesting characters who see each other frequently. Because with solo movies, we haven't seen like Pepper Potts in 4 years. So
Has
we
her
don't.
contract expired?
I don't know. I think she's going to be in Infinity War. She was good.
Okay.
I think she was going to be in Civil War, and then she dropped out of that because she only has one movie left. So
okay.
yeah, or her contract might be up. I don't actually know the entire legal thing that's going on right now, so I'm not up to date. There's due to Ike Perlmutter not being in charge of Marvel anymore, there was like a total reassignment of contracts and stuff with the entertainment business. So I mean, Chris Evans was originally going to leave after Civil War, and that didn't happen because he signed on for more stuff. So who knows, right? It's going to be a lot different Marvel future, I think. I mean, obviously, I think Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Scarlett Johansson, they're going to definitely step down within at least the next 10 years. Which is
they're
a
gonna
lot
get
of
old.
movies.
They're gonna get old.
Yeah.
All right, you want to move on?
Yeah, sure. Okay, so next is Power Rangers. You put this in as a joke topic.
Yeah, I did put it in as a joke topic, Ben. But if you want to talk about Power Rangers, okay, this is just real quick.
right.
I'm definitely gonna see that movie. I don't really have high expectations for it. I loved watching Power Rangers as a kid. That was like that was what I just loved it. And the new one looks pretty dumb, but it looks fun. I think it's either gonna be like a really fun movie or just go in the direction that Transformers went in, and where it's like a really cool looking thing that you loved in your childhood, and then you see the movie and it's just crap.
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
it's a bunch of CGI crap. But
Yeah.
that's just all I really wanted to say about
gonna
Power
be-
Rangers.
Quite. I for some reason I thought this was a Michael Bay film.
I am not surprised. If it was a Michael Bay film, I'd be like, oh, makes sense.
It's like, another thing ruined from childhood. I have distinct memories of being into Power Rangers from when I was like 5, but I
Yeah,
don't actually
same.
remember anything about the Power Rangers.
I just remember the fighting and then
I remember
the
how
theme song.
I don't think I ever actually there's like the Go Go Power Rangers.
Yeah, I remember that theme song. That's what I remember.
Yeah, yeah. I don't actually really remember that much of the show. I'm not sure if I actually watched it. I definitely read like the books.
There was books?
There were like spin-off books or something.
There's like comic books?
There were like, you know those learning to read books?
Oh,
like,
no way.
Yeah, no, I read a lot of those for some reason. I don't know. It's just, I guess it was a thing. Yeah, so next we got The Arrival, which... What do you think? Because
okay. So
it's been getting really good reviews.
Yeah, well, I saw the trailer.
November 11th.
I saw the trailer on YouTube a couple months ago, like the first trailer, and I thought this looks like really interesting. And then
it does look interesting to say the least. I think it could go many ways.
Yeah. So, and then based on the reviews, it sounds like it was really good. At first, I was like, I could see this movie based on like just seeing the trailer. I could see the movie being either like really good or really terrible.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
It gives me a general sort of Interstellar vibe, which
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of that movie, to say the least.
Some people do like that movie a lot.
Sure, except clearly they haven't watched it a second time. That movie is pure spectacle, and I hope it's not the same case with this movie. I've heard Amy Adams does a really good job in the main role, so that's going to be good.
Yeah. It looks interesting to say the least. I wonder if it's going to be like edge of your seats because it could be like a thriller
Could
or
be
very suspenseful.
I mean, it looks like it's going to be typical alien, quote unquote, deep alien sci-fi affair. I've been saying affair a lot.
Affair. Why affair?
You know, I don't know, Desmond. I think it sounds typical to me, which is weird because you don't typically think of that as a typical thing.
You said typical like 10 times.
Yes, I did. You don't typically think of that as a regular thing, where, oh, hey, let's have a mystery with sci-fi. But I think in the last few years, that's sort of become a trend.
Yeah, I guess.
With this kind of aesthetic that it has going on. So hopefully it's kind of gives a new take on this. Seems kind of oddly original and unoriginal at the exact same time. Yeah, I'm optimistic, I guess. I'm not that excited for it, quite honestly.
I'm not super excited, but I think I will want to see it, or I'm at least going to see it at some point in my life.
Yeah, sure.
Or like when it comes out on Blu-ray or whatever, then I'll see it. But I might see it in theaters too if I have the time.
Yeah. I mean, it looks fun. So the next topic is Doctor Who.
Going off of the sci-fi.
Yeah, going off of the sci-fi. The next topic is Doctor Who. Before we start with the main thing, what's your general opinion?
Okay, well, so the reason we're bringing this up is just to talk about how the seasons have been changing in like quality as they've progressed. So, in my opinion, Doctor Who was a really good show up until about the like season 6-ish. I thought with the new season of Doctor Who, I didn't like it that much, you know? Like, I felt that Doctor Who was a really strong running show, and it kept getting better and better up until about like season 4 or 5-ish. And then I felt like a peak there. Season 6 was pretty good. I don't think it was on par with seasons 4 and 5, but it was still pretty good. Season 7 was awful. Just saying that, I really did not like season 7. Season 8 was like, and then season 9 was also like, So, when is the next Doctor Who season coming out?
The next Doctor Who season is coming out in April with the spin-off Class, which is actually just premiered in England, but for some reason isn't coming out here at the same time, which is
That's weird. I haven't been paying attention. I got really bored with season 9.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so my general opinion of Doctor Who is I'm a fan of the first 2 seasons. I really like Christopher Eccleston. I think it did a great job.
You like Christopher Eccleston?
Yeah, I do.
Ben, we're going to have some issues.
I think
I'm not saying it was bad.
I think the first season did a great job of kind of bringing it back into the universe after, like, what, a 16-year gap in between projects?
I don't think Christopher Eccleston was that good. I don't think it was bad, but...
So, I generally like the second season because it has David Tennant. Not a huge fan of Rose. She's kind
Same.
of yeah, she got a bit annoying towards the end, and for some reason they kept wanting to bring her back as like this prophetic character.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of a bit weird because the first time I was like, oh yeah, I guess I'm okay with Rose. She's okay, but she's very. She doesn't have a lot of character. She's just kind of, oh, I would be interested in doing alien things.
And saving my
And
dad.
I would be interested. I have this complex emotional backstory with my dad, which gets dropped after one episode, or I guess is led to over the course of a season.
Yeah, but-
which I actually really appreciated about season one because it shows characters through the over the course of what can be taken as individual episodes. Over the course of a season,
I think it was
which I
mostly
think
standalone
is what
episodes.
Doctor Who should do. Because if you have, I think the thing with the newer seasons of Doctor Who is that there's not a lot of character development going on because it's been going on for 9 seasons. You can't
And by
do a
newer
lot of
seasons,
stuff.
you
So
mean like 8 and 9, right?
yeah.
So we have-
no, actually, I mean up until like
Actually,
season
yeah.
6 to since season 9. I think alternating the Doctors faster has definitely helped with that because it's made it so that the characters kind of get refreshed quicker.
Yeah, I do think alternating the Doctors. Yeah, I think they do it at the perfect pace. I still miss Matt Smith because I don't know how. I mean, I like Capaldi, but
I'm about to say a controversial statement.
Okay, Ben.
I really like the first season of Matt Smith. I love season 5. It might actually be my favorite season of Doctor Who.
Well, that's not controversial.
No,
totally-
I'm getting to the controversial part.
Okay.
I
Okay.
hate season 6.
Wow.
And
Wow.
That's actually not that controversial, but I have extremely mixed feelings about season 7, and I think honestly it leads towards the bad side because
Season 6.
I'm actually a big fan of Rory.
Rory.
Yeah, I love Arthur Darvill. I think he's a great actor. Love him on Legends of Tomorrow. I hate how they decided to kill him off on Legends of Tomorrow.
Well,
But,
maybe he'll come back like he does in Doctor Who.
yeah, exactly.
He comes back like 5 times.
Yeah.
Probably more than that, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
But Ben, I'm gonna have to disagree with you about this season 6 being
Yeah,
terrible.
let me say my opinions on the other
All right,
seasons
go for it.
leading up to this.
I'm gonna be heavily breathing in the background with a mad face.
So season 3,
Season 6.
I know, but season 3 I
Okay.
have generally mixed opinions on too. Season 4 I really like because it is Donna. Season 5 said that. So yeah, season 6 I have mixed opinions on. Or actually, sorry, I hate. That's the one I hate. Okay, so let me explain why. I think it's very, very poorly constructed. I think it has some good ideas in there, but they're not executed well at all. And it's written a lot sloppier than the other Doctor Who seasons, and honestly, it doesn't make sense in some
It
areas.
does
which is
make sense.
It really doesn't, does it?
Yes, it
I
does.
want you to explain.
Okay,
to me.
it doesn't make perfect sense. in
I want
some
you to
areas.
explain to me how all of time can be happening at once, and how that makes
Okay,
any
that
sense.
made no sense. But that was a cool concept, though.
No, because it doesn't make sense, and it shouldn't happen. And I'm not sure why. What's with all the fixed points in time, man, this season?
Yeah, it's just like a
just-
plot device, you know.
It's a plot device, except then they immediately go and break it, and it's stupid, quite honestly.
Yeah.
I don't. Wait, no, yeah. I'm not a fan of the way they repeatedly killed off Rory. Or was that season 5? I forget.
It was both.
Yeah, that's just kind of a general complaint I have. That way too repeated. The thing I love about season 5 is that it again showcases the characters of Amy, Rory, the Doctor,
Yeah.
all very well through their own individual episodes.
Okay, well-
and it doesn't necessarily have an overlong season arc, which season 6 did, and I can commend it for trying.
Okay.
Because typical TV affair is you do have a long arc over the course of the season, and Doctor Who generally tries to just kind of showcase its characters and take characters in specific directions and just kind of launch them in a trajectory, which I'm fine with. But Doctor Who season 6 really tried to do its own thing, and it started, but I think it was quite obvious that they didn't really know. They just kind of had a general idea of where they were going, and they didn't have an exact, precise...
All right.
Because there's a few things that don't add up within the season, and the first episode is... it was built up towards heavily in the promotion to season 6, and definitely not as hyped as... not
Overhyped.
Yeah, it definitely was overhyped.
Okay.
And the first 2 episodes, actually, that two-parter, I found very underwhelming.
Really? Okay,
And-
Ben, I'm going to give you my take on season 6 because clearly we have disagreements. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say season 6 was better than season 4 or 5 because I really don't think that, but I'm going to say it wasn't terrible. I think some good things that came out were, I don't know about you, but I really love the silence. I think
I think it's a neat concept again, but
No.
I don't think it's executed well.
no, I think
the
silence is done.
There's a separate complaint, but at the end of season 7, where they're like teaming up with the Doctor, that still makes no sense. And I hate Matt Smith's final episode, except for the last scene. That's amazing.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, I feel you.
Yeah.
Okay, but in season 6 we see the silence, which are these creatures that once you look at them and then once you look away, you forget that you ever saw them, which I think was a really cool concept, and that was pretty creepy too because it was like you could have just seen the silence, but you forgot.
yeah.
I think that was I really love the silence. Another thing cool that came out of that season is we get to see more of River.
Yeah.
We get to find out more about River. I
You
think,
find out a lot about River Song, and in
Is-
my opinion, it makes her less interesting because
Really?
a lot of that part of that character was, here's a character who we don't know who she is. She's obviously maybe somewhat romantically connected to the Doctor in some
Yeah.
way, which I thought that was a very cool idea. Except, honestly, I think Matt Smith's Doctor and her Alex Kingston's River Song, I don't think they mesh well together. I think David Tennant and her definitely did a pretty good job.
Well,
But I feel like there's definitely something missing from Matt Smith, their chemistry. I think it's definitely there, except I feel like there's not as much of it. And I feel like that might be in some way to the mystery. When she showed up recently in the last episode of season 9, I actually really like that. I think Peter Capaldi and her do a pretty good job.
okay. But I don't know. Season 6, River Song, I think that was done fairly well. I enjoyed it. Was that also in season 6? I haven't seen it in a while, but was that the episode with the Weeping Angels?
No, I think that was season 5.
All right, I'm confusing it with something else then. Never mind.
Are you talking about Blink? Because that was season 3.
No, I'm talking about the Time of the Angels.
Yeah, that was season 5.
Okay, never mind. And then another thing, just last thing to take away from season 6. This is also a controversial statement, but I actually felt really satisfied by the ending.
Really?
Yes.
Because, I mean, does he? Stephen Moffat, for some reason, he had this thing in, what is it, like, all of his Doctor Who seasons, I think, he has these loose ends that never get tied up.
Yeah, that happens, Ben.
And they haven't been tied up. All of them have been, like, sort of vaguely tied up, but then brought back later and then opened up again.
Wow.
And then they're just closed again. Like, I mean, a perfect example of this is for the Doctor Who 50th anniversary special. For some reason, Tom Baker just comes in and he's like, "Yeah, you might visit your past selves" or something like that.
Okay, the only reason-
What is that alluding to? It's been like 3 years since then, and we have no idea what it's about.
Okay, Ben, the only reason we see that scene at the end of the 50th anniversary, the Day of the Doctor, the only reason we see Tom Baker, who's the curator, come in is so Tom Baker can be on Doctor Who again.
Sure, except it doesn't make any sense.
Who
And
cares?
It definitely seems like they were setting up something. And
No, they weren't. They just
it was
wanted
a cool
to have
no,
Tom
no, no.
Baker on Doctor Who.
It was good setup, but it wasn't like good. There was no so there was setup, and then there was no actual stuff that happened.
It wasn't
is just-
supposed to be stuff that happened.
No, Desi, I think you're reading this wrong. I think there definitely
No,
was.
Ben, I think you're reading this wrong. It doesn't matter about the plot. It matters that Tom Baker was on Doctor Who.
Okay, see, that's totally 100% superficial because I love Tom Baker as much as the next guy, but you don't need to bring him back just to say some random stuff.
No, they just wanted him there.
I guarantee that was set up because, I mean, Stephen Moffat may not know how to write, but he knows at least some rules of writing.
I wouldn't stretch that far, Ben. Okay, I think the only reason was just they just wanted Tom Baker on Doctor Who so that all Whovians would go, "Oh my God, it's Tom Baker!"
Great.
And then honestly, everyone was freaking out, so no one really cared enough to notice.
I mean,
he's kind of useless. There's no point of him in this.
So kind of generally, I wanted to talk about how, and I know we only have a few minutes left, but how hypothetically you would fix the current iteration of Doctor Who, because I personally I think I like season 9 more than a lot of other people. I think Heaven Sent is probably...
Heaven Sent is a very good episode.
I think Heaven
will
Sent
give you
is
that.
honestly probably the best Doctor Who episode of the modern era.
Really?
But it's a 2-parter, and the second part does not follow up, because
definitely.
what Stephen Moffat is good at is setup. And he can't do endings. He can't do conclusions.
You know
He's
what?
Absolutely terrible.
You have
at
a
it.
very good point there.
Which is why I think Sherlock is definitely written a lot by other people than him, and he kind of just puts his name on it, because there's some really... It's a mystery show, and that show has some really good conclusions to episodes and stuff, and, you know...
Stephen Moffat's not very good at concluding.
Stephen Moffat cannot write conclusions.
Well,
He-
also...
He can write setup really well.
Yeah.
Except I don't think he has any idea where he's going with that setup half the time.
Yeah, honestly. And we can see that in a lot of Doctor Who. But
So, I mean, after season 10, Stephen Moffat's leaving the show, if you're aware of that.
Yeah, I know that.
And it's also getting a spin-off class, which we mentioned earlier. That's written by completely different people. I'm really looking forward to seeing how that turned out. I think it's been getting generally positive reviews in the UK. So that's
Okay,
going to be
cool.
fun to see. But I think how to fix Doctor Who, you would have to go back to basics. Just kind of make it a really simple time travel story. Just stop it with all that. You know what? Stop trying to tie up the loose ends, because they're not going to be tied up. Just kind of soft reboot. And you know what? Keep Peter Capaldi, because I love Peter Capaldi. He's great. And he's a really good doctor when he has stuff to work with. Unfortunately, Stephen Moffat doesn't really give him that stuff to work with, and I think it's the Broadchurch director. I don't know his name. Who's the next director for Doctor Who? Mm-hmm. So hopefully, it's going to be good. I would like to see maybe more like character-driven stories, which I think they definitely tried in season 9.
no, but there was... I felt...
And I think it paid
Clara
off for a
had,
bit.
like, pretty much no character, honestly.
Clara is a... I'm glad they got rid of her, because
Yeah,
she's
same.
so confusing. Because for season 7, for
okay.
for the first season she was in, she was basically a plot device. She was a glorified plot device, with some modified personality that is just the standard. Okay, so honestly, I'm starting to notice a trend that Stephen Moffat seems to be writing the exact same female character for all of his characters, because Riversong, Amy Pond, and Clara are all essentially the same character with different personality
do not compare
traits.
Clara to Amy Pond.
Actually, no, Amy Pond's pretty...
I loved Amy
but
Pond.
they all have very similar elements to each other, and I wish that...
I'll accept that.
It hopefully Bill, who's the next companion, has, it's sort of different, because I feel like it's sort of getting samey right now.
Samey. Okay.
So yeah, hopefully they'll listen to this advice, which I do not believe they will. But
Well, hopefully, at least if they do go with what they've been done in the past, like someone that's sort of
Yeah.
similar to Clara, they'll at least keep them consistent. Because one of my main problems with Clara was that she seemed very inconsistent.
Yeah. For season 8, I actually really like Clara, and for season 9, she just had a total lack of things to do.
Yeah,
So,
she would. Sometimes she'd be super genius. Sometimes she wouldn't. Sometimes.
yeah. I mean, Clara had like an arc in season 9, which I can commend. So
Yeah.
it's about time for us to wrap up here. Thank you for listening. And tune in next week at 3 p.m. to hear us talk more about stuff.
And
All right.
subscribe to us on YouTube at The Watchtower, hosted by Ben and Desi.
Yep. All right. See you guys next week.